everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Yes, this is my custom D&D campaign set in my messed up custom D&D campaign world, where I randomly take things that I like and just shove them in and see how they fit, which sounds a lot dirtier than it is. But the people on screen with me are the players that have to deal with whatever I shove in. So it wasn't that funny, but I just find that hilarious. Guys, I am not okay right now. My brain is gone. So let's just jump into the game before I scare anyone else off. So today, uh, the group has just finished dealing with, in my humble opinion, a very cleverly created combat encounter. Um, and they fought the water, and the water almost won. And one of them got to meet a lot of water and something that lived in water that was really big. And yeah, now that all the things that are trying to kill them seem to be gone, uh, uh, we get to see what they do next. So you guys have literally just finished killing the elementals, um, and I believe are just I don't I think we ended right at the end of the battle last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So no one is currently bleeding out or dying. What would you guys like to do?
At the very least, I suggest we take a breather for about an hour. I don't feel like getting pummeled underwater again.
Just to test the theory, I'm going to see if I can target the rift with Planar Warrior. That's not a thing I can focus it on.
Uh, Planar warrior has to be against a creature, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you can't.
Alright. I just climb up the rope with the rest of them.
Um, so if we're going to take a short rest, Vala will create a small fire to warm every. I know, a small fire to help warm everybody up, and we'll play a song of rest for anybody else that would like to expend hit points or hit dice. So it's an extra D8.
Yeah, I'm going to be spending a lot of hit dice.
Yeah, me too.
So
After you guys spend the next 2 days trying to keep everything from lighting up fire,
I mean, we're surrounded by water. It should be.
yeah, I don't think that it stopped Vala's fire. Excuse me. While you're doing this, I'd like a Constitution save from everybody.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, where were these rolls last week?
with Argenta.
14.
All right. Vala.
Sorry. Ooh. 12.
All right. Lillian.
That 20, 24 total.
Damn. Henri
Not natural 20.
and Commander.
24.
Yeah. As you guys are sitting down and binding your wounds and resting, and as Vala's song just kind of seeps into all of you, and just increases the natural regeneration of your bodies. At first, you all just kind of feel odd. It's almost like there's just something in the air. Like you start to taste kind of a rancid flavor in the back of your mouth. And as you guys keep trying to just kind of rest and relax and everything, it just starts to get worse. Your stomachs start to turn a little bit. A few of you might start to develop mild headaches, or start seeing halos where the light reflects off the water or off of metallic objects you're carrying. And by the end of the hour-long rest, you're all just kind of have a malaise feeling. You just don't feel well.
Makes sense for Henri, at least. I mean, I was Water's punching bag for who knows how long.
Maybe
Yeah,
you should get out.
you got waterboarded.
Bella, how much did your Song of Rest heal us? You're muted.
Muted, Vala.
It's 1d8, I believe, right?
Yes, 1d8.
Oh, I thought you rolled it and then we got that much.
Oh. I did, and it was 2. It's
Can
a
I
little
keep mine?
off key, I'm sorry.
Still two more hit points than you had before.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
feeling
so,
a bit better.
Do I spend my last hit dice for 2 hit points? No, I'll save one. I spent 8 hit dice that short rest.
I spent 4. Perhaps we could get out of here. There's nothing we can really do.
Argenta, you
Yes.
specifically, in addition to kind of just the malaise and the mild headache, you can feel the portal itself, almost as if it's like a large fire where you can kind of feel the heat radiating off of it. But it's not heat, it's just something. You can just feel it. But in addition to that, you feel something else. Not coming from the portal. Feels like it's coming from lower, somewhere, and you guys can't see it on the map, but as you go further south here, there's a very large lake that looks incredibly deep enough that you can't see the bottom after about there. And so you're just getting this very strange kind of broken feeling from what seems to you to be the bottom of this lake.
Odd question. Do any of you have the water breathing spell?
I do not. But you're also really quiet, Argenta.
Oh. Give me a moment. Do I sound better?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm getting this strange feeling from the bottom of the lake, but can't really see the bottom, and I can't breathe in water.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm more worried about how we can close that whatever that is.
Well, it
I don't
might.
recommend going in it.
Nobody thought to bring the our rod of messing stuff up, did they?
Rod is messing stuff up.
Yes,
You-
that piece of the jail cell
Oh no.
with its anti-magic properties. I wonder what would happen if we threw that at the portal.
Give whatever creature that is means of getting out would be my guess. I mean, worst case scenario happens to us all the time, right?
Only if I try it. If somebody else tries it, it'll work.
I tried to stab it, and apparently it was a portal.
Hmm.
So I think you're rubbing off on me.
Again, thank you for being a mirror to show me how foolish some of my ideas are.
Yeah, you would have hated that place.
Hmm.
I'm going to just. I'm gonna climb down the rope to down here. I'm gonna, while they're talking, spend a minute and use primeval awareness for elementals.
Okay. Um. So as you focus and kind of try and sense where, if there are any elementals near you, um, having used this before, it's generally a pretty simple thing for you. You kind of get almost like a blip in your mind that's like, okay, I think there's this many in that direction or something. This time, you don't. Again, you feel the portal, and you feel something, but as you kind of focus on and try and figure it out and move around a little bit, you realize that the feeling you're getting is coming from the other side of this portal.
Hmm.
I mean, the one upside of that thing is it seemed to make your weapon magical, but I don't recommend doing it with everything.
Yeah.
It's been a fluke.
Vala,
Yes.
I feel like doing a U. Do you have the light spell?
I have the light spell. I also have daylight.
Okay, can you cast either one on one of my weapons?
Um. Hmm.
Probably light. Save some juice.
Yes, I really don't have much left. Um. I well. Um. Yes, I will cast light on one of your weapons,
Okay.
and then. Do you think it should just be you going down there, or maybe two of us should go?
I mean, I'm going to be increasing my speed just in case.
Well then,
Wait, are you going in the portal or in the water?
The lake, not the portal.
Okay. Well, before you go anyway, I'm gonna climb down and I'm gonna cast Death Ward on Argenta.
All right.
and I will whip out my flute and play a little ditty, and give you inspiration.
All right. And I will pull out the jar of dirt that I have on my hip, pull out a pinch because we're surrounded by coral, and cast Long Strider on myself.
Hmm.
And then I will jump into the lake and start swimming down.
All right. The lake is pretty cold. If you've ever been in like a mountain spring lake, it's surprising how much colder the water is than you think it should be. So your first reaction as you start going deeper is you can just kind of feel this tightness in all of your muscles as they react to the very cold water, but you are able to push through it. I'd like you to make a perception check with disadvantage for me.
All right.
Huh.
Okay, that's not bad. Skill perception. 19.
So, looking around, the first thing you start to notice as you go down, and Vala, did you cast light on something of his, or no?
Yes, I did cast light, just regular light.
On what did you cast it on?
I would've-
One of the weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have put it on my hand axe because it's on my hip.
Okay. So as you're going, you do have this bright light kind of illuminating things, and as you get lower and lower, you see the light is going isn't going as far, and it just keeps getting closer and closer as far as what you can see. And at first, it just almost feels like the light is like fading, like a torch burning out. But as you look around a little more, you realize it's because the water itself is getting cloudier. And as you keep going, you're trying to figure out what it is, if it's sediment or something else that's making the water cloudier. You start noticing the light has changed color a bit from the just kind of regular white light you're used to shades of like lavender and pink. And as you get further and further down, the color changes more and more to a red color. When you finally bottom out after about a minute of swimming, the water itself around you has become a pretty deep red, and your vision is bright light only goes to about 15 feet instead of 30.
Almost like blood.
Hey, Jody,
Yes?
for sending, is it all telepathic, or does he have to respond like verbally to the spell? I'm not 100% sure how it works.
I've always treated it as telepathic, so
Okay, because if that was the case, I would be sending messages with my invocation to him every or her every 5 minutes to see if
okay, I'm fine with using that, but basically as a communication line. You know, a radio, basically, as he
Yeah.
dives deeper. So, Argenta, if you'd like, you can describe it to your allies as you're going deeper.
Every so often, like every 15 seconds or so, you'll get a brief 25-word description of what it looks like. And when I hit the bottom, it just says, "It looks like blood."
It does look like very watery blood. Like the consistency is still water, so it hasn't gotten thicker or anything. It's just gotten cloudier.
So I'm going to be looking to see if there's a direction where it does get thicker or more red.
Sure. First things first. What's your Constitution modifier?
4.
4. Okay. So, I believe you can hold your breath for your con mod +1 minutes.
I think that's right.
We'll do that. So you've got 5 minutes before you start to suffocate, and it took you about a minute to get down here. So remember that.
Okay.
Make me an investigation check.
Okay, and Vala, what's your inspiration die? Just in case I need it.
Muted.
It is muted. D8.
Okay. I doubt that's a natural 20.
All right. So looking around, you can definitely tell to the southwest is where the concentration of this red tinting or shading seems to be.
Okay, so hopping along the bottom, I'll be heading in that direction.
Okay. As you continue to go, make me a strength saving throw. Or, sorry, just a strength athletics check.
Okay. It's going to be a 17.
Okay. So as you're kind of walking along and swimming, while holding your breath, your muscles are starting to feel this strain from swimming so long and the cold and everything, but you're fighting through it. After another about a minute, you're able to come and see some sort of metal object in front of you, though it's partially buried in the sand, and because you've been walking along the bottom, you've also kicked up some silt and the like, making it a little more difficult to see.
Can I, like, grab it to kind of feel what it is?
Sure. As you take hold of it, you take 3 points of slashing damage as you grab onto it, and it slices into your hand pretty deep.
Hmm.
And your blood starts to mix with the water and silt.
Okay, so it's really silty and all that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, where I am, I'm going to start swimming straight up to see, like, so that everybody else
Okay.
can see me.
One thing you did notice is when you grabbed it, whatever it is didn't move an inch. So whatever
Alright.
this sharp thing was, it's heavy.
Gotcha.
As you start swimming up, you suddenly feel something grab your ankle and start yanking you back down.
I'm going to try and kick free.
Right, make me an attack roll with disadvantage, and without. No, this would be you're proficient with your own unarmed strikes.
Nat 1.
As you sit there and try kicking, your foot slips, and you don't realize how far down you've gone, and you actually feel whatever this thing down there is slice your calf. As your kick misses, you take another 3 slashing damage, and you start bleeding a lot more than you think you should. As you're kind of fighting with something you can't see, you suddenly see just 2 pinpricks of light in front of you, and something somewhat shiny, reflecting the light of your of the light spell, right in front of you, and it suddenly lurches forward, and I need a dex saving throw.
Sure. That's a nat 20 again.
All right. So you kind of jerk your head back as the jaws of a very large werewolf snap and just barely miss your face. You can feel his claws digging rather deep into the ankle that it's grabbed, and you can see his other paw coming around that's attempting to grab you. But you also notice um, there's something in between you. Whatever's been cutting you is in between you two, and you see cuts forming around the neckline where the werewolf tried to bite you, and along his arms, and you watch him kind of lean back a little bit as you see blood just start pouring out of these wounds for a second, and then they start to close as he drifts back everything except his claw that is got a vice grip on your foot. 3 minutes total have passed now. Your lungs are starting to burn.
Okay, I'm going to rage as I pull out my silver dagger, and I'm just going to try and carve his hand off of my ankle.
Okay, make a attack roll for me.
That's a... What is this? 22?
Yeah, you stick it in. You feel it release immediately, and there is almost an explosion of blood around you, and you actually hear this high-pitched wailing sound.
Okay, and I'm just going to start swimming as fast as I can away.
Okay. It takes you another minute to get to the surface. By the time you break the surface, your lungs are aching, but you make it. Inhale as much air as you can, and you guys see him about 100 feet out from where he dove in, just burst up. But you do notice as he bursts up, there's splashes of water and some red liquid just bursts out with him.
Yeah, that's normal.
Are you okay?
There's a machine underwater. It's very sharp. It's very heavy. And there's this self-healing werewolf that tried to drown and eat me.
Did it bite you?
No, it missed.
Good.
I
So
did cut myself on the machine, though. I'm just kind of like treading water right now.
And you, as you're sitting there treading, you suddenly start to feel a little lightheaded, and you guys can see, especially those of you that are on the cliff, the water around Argenta is starting to get dyed red.
okay, well, why don't you swim back over here,
All right,
and I'll
go.
kind of go out to help meet her.
Okay. Make me a con save with disadvantage, Argenta.
Of course.
Uh,
Oh, disadvantage was not needed.
Oh, not you, Vala. Argenta.
Oh, sorry.
okay, so the first roll is okay. The second roll is okay. 11 plus 8, 19.
Okay. So as you're going, you are starting to get tunnel vision, and your arms are just not quite working the way they're supposed to, and you're having a hard time staying afloat. Vala, as you get near Argenta, she's starting to flail a little bit. She's sinking a little bit, and as you get closer to her, you can see she's bleeding a lot.
Okay, I
Close to arterial levels of blood coming out.
Okay. I am going to. How far away from her am I?
Oh, you've already gotten to her.
Okay, then I'm casting cure wounds at 3rd level.
Okay, go ahead and roll the hit points.
1, 8, 10 plus 5, 15.
Okay. So Argenta, you feel the familiar feeling of healing coming in, but you don't feel the wounds closing like they normally would. So the tunnel vision goes away for a moment. You start feeling a lot better. But within, a minute, you're already starting to feel that little bit of lightheadedness.
All right, I'm gonna, with that newfound strength, kind of reach the edge,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna start trying to tend to where it cut me on my foot and my hand.
So, looking at the wounds, they don't even look like cuts at this point. They just look like you're leaking blood. Like the skin isn't even really separating or anything. It's almost like you have a little port on you now to let the blood drain out.
Would I? I'm assuming we're back on land and I'm seeing this happen.
Mhm.
Well, if this is a curse, I can fix it. Or if this is some type of condition, I can fix it. But I don't know what this is. Could I?
If you'd like to roll Arcana, you could try and figure it out.
I very much would. Oof. 13.
Looking at this, it's very obviously some sort of magic. Though whether it's more of a condition or if it's actually a curse, you can't really tell just from looking at it.
Well, does anybody have any ideas? I could try identifying it to find out exactly what it is, but that will mean I can't cast one of the other spells.
Argenta, I need
Yeah.
another con save as your vision starts to tunnel.
I mean, I can only do stuff when they're dead.
Can I try it?
Sure.
I'm gonna pack up that inspiration just to keep going. 22.
Go ahead and roll a history check, Lillian.
I got a 22 on the con save.
Okay, so you're fighting through it, but again, you've had times where you were bleeding out, so you know the feeling of basically an anemia, but you've never had it happen this quick.
I will to another blood.
Since it is kind of in your wheelhouse, you can roll that with advantage,
Oh.
Lillian. 'Cause this is 100% blood. Yeah, it's magical, and you're fairly certain it's not good.
Anyone else have any ideas?
Let her die, and I could speak to her.
Argenta,
Anyone have any good ideas?
go ahead and make me a dex save.
I can't.
15.
So that's one success.
You might just have to try first.
Vala, you can see Argenta is now starting to go unconscious. She's just barely staying conscious, but she's not really coherent.
I am going to cast Remove Curse.
Right? As you sit there and you focus the magics, you feel kind of like a chain binding her that you just break mystically. And you see the wounds don't automatically heal, but they're not spewing blood. They seem to clot, and with another cure wounds or a little bit of rest, they will probably heal fine now.
I will just kind of like sit back, like, whew, okay, that wasn't high pressure at all. How are you feeling?
It's coming back.
Argenta,
So-
you are really, really quiet.
Oh, is it better now?
A little bit.
Let me do something.
Sorry, I'm straining, and I'm certain the recording is just barely picking you up.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, welcome to tech support for our
Yeah.
Just
Is it
like
better?
every other episode, Roll20 hates us.
Is this any better?
It's the same.
Sam.
Hmm.
Is Roll20 picking up another mic by default?
Yeah, if you go in the top part and just click on the camera icon, you should see what mic Roll20 is using.
Anybody have toggle between them?
Sorry, folks, for all you watching. This is just how it works, but we'll get back to it just a second here. I promise.
The whole time Argento was down there, I didn't take my eyes off of that portal that I went through,
Mm-hmm.
just in case that thing came out. I was just staring at it the whole time.
It'd be really impressive if that thing came out, because it's really small compared to that giant city-sized thing down there.
And I mean, I don't have multiple mics. That's the thing. What usually happens is for some reason one of my headphones will make my mic really quiet, but I don't know.
All right, folks, and you're gonna real quick just go to the starting soon screen for just a couple minutes while we try and troubleshoot this. We'll be right back. I promise. Hello again, everyone. Sorry about that. Tech issues are fun, but we're back, and we're gonna just jump right back into the game. So, Argenta, you're slowly kind of regaining your feet on you, and Val is right next to you, and everyone else is up the cliff. Henri, since you've been watching that portal so closely, make me an investigation check.
Let's double check. It's only perception. All right. I had to double check sunlight sensitivity. 14.
So watching it, the water itself comes out in a pretty steady stream. Nothing too powerful. It just kind of gently is flowing out, like a river waterfall. However, every so often you'll notice increases in the amounts of water, just little spurts where it gets really strong for a second, then gets a little bit lighter for a second, and then goes back to this steady stream.
Gotta find a way to close that.
Well, now that I'm coming to, there's a device under the water, and it's containing this werewolf. Don't touch the device, that's how I almost died. It's really sharp.
And you're sure it's powering this?
I mean, there's blood in the water, and every time we've come across one of these, it's a blood device.
That is true. About how far down do you think?
You have to swim for a minute, and then you reach the bottom.
DM,
Yes.
could Argenta gauge about how deep it was in feet versus time?
Yeah, with the fact that Argenta is a ranger, you would guess probably around about like 150-ish, 100, 150. So it's pretty deep, not crazy deep.
I mean, we could just swim down a little bit and just see if we can just nuke it from afar so we don't have to get close to whatever that thing was.
I mean, I couldn't see it till I was close, so I didn't even know there was a werewolf until it grabbed me.
Henri's right. We need to nuke it from space. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah. We're fire.
I can literally create a giant column of light that will go down from where we would be to directly on it so everyone would see bright light.
So, yes, I could use Firebolt or Eldritch Blast or
Probably
any number of.
underwater. Just a thought.
But I want to try.
I mean, we could kill the werewolf and then we wouldn't have to touch the device, but like, the werewolf's wounds were healing and that was weird.
Ooh, if I could get close enough to the werewolf and cast Remove Curse, I could cure it of lycanthropy, and then the machine would kill it. No. No, that's too dark even
What?
for me.
Loving that idea.
I mean, do we just want to try and nuke it from afar? Like to swim 30 feet down, see if my giant pillar of light or your daylight or whatever illuminates enough so we can just shoot it from higher up.
I mean, I'm okay with that. We don't have to get right on top of it, even if we get within 30 feet of it. I can hold my breath for at least 4 minutes.
I mean, I found out the hard way I can hold my breath for quite a while.
Well, alright, so shall we try this?
Yeah, I don't think Commander will be of use, sorry, because
Oh no, I'm just gonna sit up here.
I don't know how your boomstick works underwater.
I mean, Commander does have rope.
It usually doesn't.
So I think this is something, I mean, you guys can, go down and watch the show if you want, but I think this is something Vala and I have to do. If it works. If not, then we're just creating a giant beacon for any creature that's come through this portal to see.
Mm. Or could attract anything through the portal.
And then I'll
Well,
opt out again. Just a thought.
I like this plan. I support this plan.
Okay.
I'm going to start climbing down the rope to where they are.
I approve this message.
I've just been like sipping on water and eating crackers to refill my blood with salt and liquid.
So both of you start swimming to where Argenta said this thing is. As you cast your pillar of light, Henri, and it sinks, what color light do you create?
What color would be reminiscent of Celeste? Just bright white?
Yeah, she has a thing for white light.
Okay, yeah, so it'd be white. It's
Right.
It's 60 feet high, so I would have to go down at least 80 feet.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you cast it, it starts off bright white, very quickly becomes pink, then red, then kind of a dark red maroon, as the water around it refracts and colors the light. But as this huge illumination appears, you guys see what looks like just a dome almost. Roughly about 10 feet in diameter, that seems to just be covered in sharp spikes and blades and things like that. And it seems to be partially covered in sand and silt. And you can see this werewolf in the very center of it has basically just lied down on the lake bed to avoid getting cut by these devices for a few moments while it heals. As soon as the light shows up, it starts reaching up and trying to get out of this cage dome. And you see it start bleeding again, then retreating and attacking and retreating. What spells are you guys going to use?
I am going to try Firebolt first.
Eldritch Blast for me.
All right. The firebolt itself, as it travels through the water, it creates little trails of steam. But by the time it gets to the werewolf, it doesn't seem to do anything. Vala, you do notice, though, as you cast it, this werewolf is much larger than any werewolf you've seen. And you kind of get this, because from being so far away underwater and everything, it kind of looked normal size, but as your firebolt got close to it and illuminated it, this is a massive werewolf, probably at least 12 to 16 feet tall. Henri, on the other hand, your Eldritch blasts go in and impact him pretty well, and you can hear kind of growls and grunt type things coming from the creature, but it's all muffled by the water.
How much do I know about the leader of this region?
You would know a fair amount.
Basically, I'm just trying to like. He's not a werewolf. He has control over his lycanthropy.
Well, yeah, he's a blood hunter. That's path of the lycanthrope. So he is a werewolf, but he has mostly has control over it through the blood hunter arts.
Okay. In that case, I will sigh audibly underwater and start casting Eldritch Blast.
As you guys kind of pummel him with these Eldritch blasts, you can see the wounds you're making with them are healing a little bit, but before another blast can hit it. You are making leeway, but you won't have anywhere near enough air to kill him with that.
We're underwater, so I can't talk.
I'll just like tap Henri on the shoulder and gesture up.
Do I feel mostly recovered, Jody, or is it going to take a while?
You're feeling much better.
So, Vala and I will swim up. My wall of light will last for 10 total minutes, so I'm just going to leave it up for its duration. So if people go in after us, that they have a pillar of light.
Yeah. Because after they come up, I was going to take a peek down so I could see the creature.
So as you guys come up, again, you come up before the pillar fades completely. And so you guys, like all of you guys out of the water, just see this massive amount of deep red light coming out of here.
I don't know how long we were down there for, but that seemed to be I don't know. It feels like anything we do to that werewolf doesn't work.
Yeah, unfortunately, my Eldritch Blast is just not good enough.
I did have an idea, but if I get too close to him, he will try and grab me. That's what he did before.
Well, what's your idea?
Well, I've recently acquired some magical abilities from my Ranger subclass, and I can mold earth now.
Tell me that's not arcane bullshit.
No, it's natural bullshit.
Ah, good.
I could attempt to dig out the mechanism he's in, because it's partially covered, and see what's up about it, but...
Yes, if we get him out of the water, then I can burn him.
I feel like we're going about this wrong. I feel like we need to target the structure and not the werewolf.
Yes,
Yeah.
Let's set the werewolf free.
It won't be healing, maybe.
No, I'm pretty sure
Dude,
the
that-
werewolves
that's so
heal
long past.
themselves.
I'm pretty sure that werewolf heals by himself.
Well, werewolf or giant fish creature thing that could swallow up the continent we're on in one bite. I think I like the werewolf better.
I mean, it's also possible the werewolf could leave us alone and go
Yes.
running off if only we had just spent 4 minutes pummeling it with Eldritch Blasts.
Here's the other thing. It's not drowning.
Yeah.
That is.
I think maybe it's put there for a reason.
Probably powering whatever device with its
Yes.
regenerative ability.
Yeah.
The reason why I put it there is because it won't die.
Right.
Maybe it's the werewolf version of the humans we saw under the tree.
That's what I'm thinking.
I could. Okay, so Jody. I can get within 30 feet and cast Mulder, so I don't have to get right next to the cage.
Mhm.
So with like the last vestiges of that wall of light, I kind of want to get within 30 feet of the seabed and just digging out the cage so I can see it in full.
So you want to mold Earth to uncover the cage itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will go down with her.
Make me a spell attack roll with disadvantage.
That's the first time you've heard that as a barbarian.
I know.
Yeah.
That's an 11.
All right. As you sit here trying to control this magic that's new to you in a way you never used it before, you start focusing on the ground, the lake bed that is partially covered, whatever this device is. And as you sit there focusing, you start watching the silt itself start to move away in waves, just like you've taken a giant hand and you're just wiping it away. As you do more and more, it turns out to be an almost perfect half sphere that you're covering. Unfortunately, as you do that, you clear away more and more, and actually leave a gap underneath the one of the sides, and the werewolf takes that opportunity to swim out and starts swimming directly at you guys at the breakneck speeds.
Be free, Shamu.
Go. I'll like start waving it off. I wait.
The other issue is being underwater makes verbal components remarkably difficult.
But semantic and material components are okay.
Possibly.
That I will cast friends on it.
Sure. As you
Oh, no.
concentrate
Okay.
cast this spell, it feels like you're casting it on a rock.
Hmm.
As you feel claws rip into your chest, and you see teeth coming for your neck.
Round
I
two.
need a dex save from you, Vala, and you take
Oh.
6 slashing damage as the claws rip into you.
A natural 20 for a total of 27.
So as the claws rip into you, you suddenly, very quickly, remember that bites from creatures are bad.
I'm
You
having
kinda
flashbacks.
convulse and break away, and you both you break away. You are still 30 feet underwater, or however deep you are. And after getting hit, you are just about out of air.
Right. I start jetting for the surface
Okay, and
and looking for Argenta to follow.
I have, yeah, I have a bit more air than her, so I'm going to be following her, but like staying the bait, so she's always higher than me in the water.
Okay. As you both break the surface, the rest of you guys can see uh, water rippling beneath them as they both come up, and you can see Vala Raven's clothes have deep red gashes in them.
Shamu is
Right.
free.
Has it been 10 minutes since I went down and passed Wall of Light?
Yeah, Wall of Light is gone.
Okay. I almost called it Pillar of Light because I've never made it a wall.
I start treading water back to the group.
Yeah, I'm there too.
As you guys get to the, or as you guys are swimming, the water erupts behind you, and this massive 16-foot tall lycanthrope bursts forth from the water and just starts clawing the water, starting to catch up to Argenta and Vala. What are the rest of you guys wanted to do?
Scrambling up the rope because I am probably shitting myself.
Okay.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lillian.
I wonder. Try to pull Valor to the land.
Make me a strength athletics.
I was saying, when I heard them talk about werewolves, I was putting silver shot in my gun.
Makes sense. Now you can see the werewolf.
Yeah.
So while Liliane is basically wading out into the water to try and help Vala, and Henri is scrambling up the rope, Commander, you're kind of in your own little sniper's nest up there.
I would not have 5 total.
Mhm.
Real quick. Vala, Lillian, Argenta, Henri, and Commander, each of you get
Mhm.
a potion of healing from Elias.
Yay!
Hey.
So the way those work is if you're missing any hit points, you
Cool.
immediately just roll 2d4 plus 2 and heal. If you're at full, you have an extra potion of healing you can use later.
Right?
Hey, 7 hit points. Thank you.
5
I
hit
got 6.
points.
Yay! That was just enough to bring me back to full health.
Didn't realize Elias had so many. My channel points are called TJ Tails. So, Commander, you're the only person that hasn't decided to do anything.
I am going to burn a grit because we did take a short rest, so I get grit back. And what do I want to do? I'm gonna go ahead and do a dazing shot on him.
Okay. Go ahead and make your shot.
That's a 26.
They definitely hits. What's this save for a dazing shot?
It's a con save.
What's the
Oh, sorry. 16.
16. Cool. What happens if it fails? Commander?
Sorry, I'm getting you in like spurts. I'm having issues with internet or something.
Hmm.
What would you say?
What happens when it fails?
Oh, he has disadvantage on all attack rolls.
Oh, cool. So you aim down, you fire a shot off, and you watch it impact, and its head kind of blows back. And as it comes back around, you can see it's missing an eye as it keeps swinging forward. But as it gets closer and closer, you watch as the eye slowly reforms itself. And as the rest of you get to the shore itself and the cliff, the werewolf finally gets to the shallows, stands up at full height, lets out this bestial roar, and suddenly you watch its left shoulder go back. And as it turns around, there is a large arrow sticking out of it. And you hear from all around you, and suddenly everything just erupts in motion. You see two more arrows stick into the creature. You see this strange amalgamation of green fur and fangs and tusk come leaping over you guys, jumping off this 20-foot wall with a pair of axes that look almost to be made of ice as this creature drops down and sticks both of them into this very large werewolf. And I have to look at my notes again for just a second. You see another very kind of short, almost but badger-looking creature with fur everywhere except its face just has like a full-grown beard, it looks like, and it leaps off of the wall as well with this just really wicked-looking morning star and drives into this. You suddenly see where the arrows are coming from as this very very kind of regal-looking creature that's just barely sprouting the bear's bits of fur has this massive longbow that looks to be made of like a tree. It's so thick. She just lets another one fly, instantly goes around, pulls another, and just keeps letting these arrows fly. You see a fourth creature come out. This one looking a little bit more regal, very wolf-like, as it comes out with a pair of scimitars as it comes down and just starts carving into this creature. And finally, you see this very large lycanthrope come forward, has this massive two-handed sword that it runs its thumb up, and you watch it burst into flame. It jumps off and impales the creature through the head, rides it all the way into the water, pulls the sword out, flips it around, and points it at all of you guys. And that is where we are going to end it for tonight. unfortunately, I'm a little bit under the weather, so it's got to be a short game tonight. But we will see you guys in the new year. We're all gonna, take time to, enjoy our families if we actually do enjoy them, and have Christmas and the New Year's and all of that. But I do put all these on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check it out. It's youtube.com/TrainerJody. Otherwise, that's all for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.